Jeez Louise. What a startling start to this episode. The metronome was just yelling at me. Wow. You know, I'd ask how you are, but we had quite a long discussion ahead of this.
We did have a nice little long chat because I was not prepared to record. My devices were about to die, or they were dead, and I had to bring them back to life very quickly.
Yeah, to resuscitate your iPad. It was a very, very scary time for all of us involved.
Wake them up inside.
Oh my God. Well, yeah, you were doing all. I guess that made it sound. I mean, how are you? You good? How you doing?
No, I'm all right. I've just had a very long day. I have a new job, and I don't think I'm allowed to talk about it on the internet, but I am working, and it's long. I don't get to sit down, but it's very fun and very fulfilling. And there were cakes involved.
Ooh, pros and cons. Pros and cons. Pros and cons.
I can't eat the cake because I can't process gluten, but I did get to look at them and smell them, and it was very nice.
Were other people able to eat the cake?
No, one person had celiac and the other person made the cakes. So we had to try to figure out how to distribute them at the end.
Well, then at least you're not like the only one missing out.
Too much information.
Anyways, before Taya gets herself fired, would you like to discuss this movie called Stick It? Stick It. It's from 2006.
It very much was 2006. And you know what, Grace? I'm going to tell you.
What?
I don't think I was very excited to watch this movie. And I hadn't, in my defense, I hadn't heard much about it. I had only seen that icy bathtub scene from TikTok.
Yeah.
And I was just like, this might not be the movie for me, but I can see how it might be the movie for you. You typically,
because it's sporty.
You typically are into more of the sporty Hey Mamas type.
Hey Mamas? Are you kidding me? Do you think my girlfriend looks like a Hey Mamas?
No, but you do, Grace.
No. I look like a soft Hey Mamas, if anything. I don't wear rings. I tried. I got one of those like little 3-packs at H&M, and I was like, I can't do this. I can't. I'm very cautious of giving off too much of a Hey Mamas vibe. You don't even know. There are certain clothing items I will not wear because I'm not trying to look like that.
It's okay. It's only a joke between you and me. I don't think anyone else would draw that conclusion. You don't have the I will cheat on you energy.
No, I am a very anxious woman. I could never. I could absolutely never. And I'm also loyal. Beyond anxiety, I am loyal.
Virgos are loyal.
Yes, we are.
They always say Leos are loyal.
Aches and we're Oh, really?
I've never known a loyal Leo. I'll just say that. I've known many loyal Virgos though.
Well, look at us. Look at us. But yeah, I mean, I had heard a decent amount about this movie. I think I had more context behind it than you did. But yeah, I had never seen it before. I was pretty surprised I hadn't seen it because it was like a sporty movie, and I feel like I would have seen it as a child, but I never did, probably because it was gymnastics. But yeah, I was honestly mostly interested in it because it's another one of those movies that, like, despite not being gay, is a very talked about movie in the gay community. So I wanted to see what the hubbub was about. And let me tell you, as much as I'm mad at you for calling me out, the main character, Haley, was very nice to see. She was very attractive to me. I will say that. Have you ever seen that or heard the audio? She is very gorgeous to me.
Yes.
That's how I felt.
Yeah.
That's how I felt. Oh, yeah. I can... Because, yeah, in the gay community, a lot of people are like, say that Haley was their gay awakening. And I can concur that had I seen this as a child, I would have been very attracted to her and not sure why. I can very much say that.
I gotta tell you, I didn't like her attitude, so I think that would have been a no from me.
Attitude wise, no. Like she's tough, but I can say looks wise, she's almost like the sportier Shannon Beveridge, which like to me that is very much the creme de la creme.
I did make that connection. And that is one of the people that pointed me to knowing that you were gay before you did.
Did you like see that I had liked something she had posted too?
You followed her on Instagram.
House?
So when I followed you on Instagram, I saw that you were following all of the lesbian YouTubers.
Embarrassing. And the thing is, it's not even my fault. Our mutual friend Mina was the one that showed me all of those YouTubers.
It's okay.
It's not even my fault.
It's okay.
You got me. When you first followed me, did you just immediately go to my following list and you were like, I'm going to figure this one out?
No, it was like right at the beginning of when if you follow someone, you get that this person also follows these people that you follow.
So Instagram itself just completely outed me.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't that you were deep diving. All right. Well,
but it also exposed me to you that I was following those people too.
But like no one was. I was not questioning whether or not you were gay. I have to say, there like it didn't need to tell me. it didn't need to tell me.
That's fair.
Yeah. Anyways, we completely forgot about the movie, but yeah, Stick It, gymnastics movie from 2006. Would you like to read its little thingy thing?
Mm-hmm.
Would you believe me if I told you that there was yet another microphone malfunction during this episode? Because you know what? There was. So here I am. And today I'm taking this opportunity to remind you guys to follow us on social media because I absolutely never remember to do that. On Twitter, we are at the U-Haulmark Pod, and on both TikTok and Instagram, we are just U-Haulmark Pod. So give us a follow, drop us a like, send us a comment. We love you guys. Thanks for being here. Back to the show.
Okay, we're back. Hi.
Hello.
Hey. Okay, what were we saying?
Can you do that voice one more time for the people at home?
I want a hot dog real bad.
I was going to say, you can't just slip in a little Jennifer Coolidge and not give us the full effect. You got to go for it. You got to give them the whole kit and caboodle. You got to give it to our paying customers.
Around my mother's ashes. That's my new favorite one.
Oh, God. Yeah. White Lotus. Good one. A very good one.
Mm-hmm.
How excited are you for season 2 with Aubrey Plaza?
Grace, when I tell you, I have never been so impatiently waiting for something.
Oh, I know. It's such a perfect fit for her. I'm very excited as well.
Mm-hmm.
But do you
that
have
woman.
the blurb? Oh, well, of course.
The blurb.
We're all humans. We all love Aubrey Plaza. I feel like that would be a very genuine like red flag for me. If someone like didn't like Aubrey Plaza, I'd be like, you don't have a good sense of humor, and I would genuinely be like, You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, the blurbity blurb about Stick It.
Yes, Stick It was released in 2006. You can currently watch it on Hulu. So it
on
is.
Hulu?
Yeah. Did you
for
pay
free?
for it? Yes, Grace.
No. I didn't specifically go on Hulu and check. I just Googled it and it said you needed Hulu Premium.
Oh. Well, I watched it for free.
That's great for you.
But in this movie, Haley is a naturally gifted athlete, but with her social behavior, the teen seems intent on squandering her abilities. After a final brush with the law, a judge sentences her to an elite gymnastics academy run by a legendary hard-nosed coach. Once there, Haley's rebellious attitude wins her both friends and enemies. And it has 6.3 out of 10 on IMDb, 32% on Rotten Tomatoes, which made me so nervous. All
right. Honestly, I wasn't expecting 32. That seems a little low. Like, it's not a great movie, but like 32 feels dramatic.
I would
Final
agree.
numbers. Yeah. Yeah, like it's not great, but 32 is a little dramatic. You know what else is 32? The millions of dollars that they made from this movie in the box office.
Really?
Yeah, they the budget was 20 million and they made 32. So,
would you look
I mean,
at that?
hey, they made money. But yeah, 32 is a little low. But I mean, we'll get back to like our ratings obviously later. All right. But
I gotta
yeah.
tell you, Grace, this
What's
movie made me so skeptical, but it really started out with a bang. And I mean a banger, because they started out with that movie that goes do, 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 do,
Oh
do,
my God.
do. And you know what? That was one of my favorite songs on Just Dance, I gotta tell you.
Oh.
That was a good one. That was a fun one. And you would like put your arm up and down, and you would like swing your legs back and forth, and you would jump on it.
I didn't have access to video games as a child unless I was at one of my friend's house. So I only remember playing Just Dance once at one of my soccer teammates' houses.
You know, I don't tell people this often, but you really missed out on that then.
I know I did. And God, if it doesn't eat me up inside every day. Oh, hold on. The sun's now very in my face.
Oh,
1
shoot.
second.
Anyway, this movie really starts off with 3 bangers within the first 5 minutes. And I gotta tell you, it really sucked me in with that Fall Out Boy tune.
Yeah. No, I literally made a note. I said we'd start with Missy Elliott, then we jump into Fall Out Boy, and then a Punjabi MC song.
Yes. I looked up the song. I can't remember what it was, but I recognized it from something. I don't know what, but it was... I was very sucked in at that point, and I said, this is really going to be quite the movie if this is the first 5 minutes of it.
Yeah, no, they crammed a whole bunch of music right in the beginning. And the very brief way to describe, well, what happens at first is like Haley and her 2 friends, who are named Frank and Poot.
Poot.
I didn't know what their names were until like the very end of the movie, and then I was like, "Wait, Poot?"
Yeah.
And I even
Like
I
Lovato.
write down, I write down all of the character names at the beginning, but I was just like, I don't know who Poot is. But then at the end, they were saying, "Oh, Poot, Poot, Poot," and I was like, "Oh, him." But yeah, she's got two friends, Poot and Frank. They very much disguise her in the beginning. So it's like the 3 of them are BMX tricksters, and they're at a house that is in the middle of construction, but it's empty, and it's got an empty pool. So they're messing around in there, and a rival BMX gang comes along, and they're like fighting for who gets the pool. And then Haley, with all of her very baggy clothing, breaks a window, and then everyone disperses, runs away. She gets caught. So that's how she gets in trouble. When she... What's up?
Can I say what I predicted your notes were going to be when she crashed through that house?
What was it?
I said, Grace is going to say, quote, her shit was busted, unquote.
You know, fair enough. Fair enough.
I thought you were going to say she busted her shit through that window.
She did. You are very correct.
Oh.
You are correct. It is not what I wrote, but I have to say that is how I would probably say it in passing if I wasn't recording it. But yeah, then we get a cut of Haley running away in slow motion, with the police coming up behind her. And this is like the moment when they reveal, like, oh, it wasn't a boy, that was a girl. Oh my God, the girl broke the window. But as the little blurb says, you know, she goes and it was like she was either going to get sentenced to go to military school or gymnastics. And they asked her what she wanted, and she wanted the military school, but they sent her to the gymnastics.
What kind of country club jail is that?
I have no idea. That was one of the things I wrote down. I was just like, well, how are these your 2 choices? They were like to pay off the like. They said it was like the window cost like $40,000 or something. I was like, first of all,
what window? That was like I said, a busted house.
Yes, Yes. But
how did that window cost $40,000? They do not cost that much.
They either said 14 or 4D, so I could be incorrect, but either way, I'm like,
either one of those.
Well, and also, how does her either going to military school or gymnastics pay anybody back? That was the part I didn't get. I was like, no matter what it is, you're not getting money back.
Also, any athletic thing that has the word elite in it is not going to do anything for free like that. I'll tell you that right now.
No, not at all. Well, and I can very much concur. As someone who played a lot of soccer growing up, everything is very expensive. Like, it is not... It can be very divisive and inaccessible to a lot of people. Like, any kind of elite sport team is very difficult to be a part of. But yeah, so she gets sentenced to go to this gymnastics academy.
And you know what song they did? Oh, mama, I'm in fear for my life from the Lord, from the Lord.
You got to set the tone somehow.
The
you got to let people know.
Was incredible.
It
was so good.
That was something I took a lot of notes on.
It was so
like,
good for no reason.
It was so great. It was, and the fact that they literally, like, again, started out with a Missy Elliott song, and it was the Stick It version too. They got their own edition. Oh, come on. Oh, come on. Oh. But again, this is a very stupid little moment, but like I only made note of it because there was a really funny quote. As she's getting driven away to the gymnastics camp, her two friends, Poot and Frank, drive up alongside the car, and they're just kind of like messing with her or whatever. And then she drives away and all of that. And the two are left to talk to each other. And one of them is like, they're teasing each other about like who's Haley's favorite. Clearly they both have like little crushes on her. And and I think it was Poot was like, oh, I'm clearly the favorite. I don't know. I don't even know what their discussion was. It was really, really weird. But then Poot says, and I quote, "Dude, why do you always gotta bite my moment? Does it taste good?" And then Frank says, "Delicious." And then the scene's over. And I was like, I don't know what conversation you just had, but that was the most... What was the last movie that we watched? I can't remember. Before this? Oh, Band Slam. It was it gave me very much Band Slam, where it was like, they were trying to add in like a little bit of like, oh, this is such creative, funny writing, but it was just weird. And there's a few more moments. There's less than there was in Band Slam, but there's a few more of these just like quotes where I was like, teens never spoke like this. I was literally 8 years old in 2006, but I'm telling you, girl, this was not going on.
Did you notice that one of the friends was a Cullen?
No.
He was one of the Cullens from Twilight.
The one with the spiky hair, Frank?
Yes.
Oh my God. Oh my God. A lot is making more sense now.
I loved this movie.
This movie, I'll save it for when I'm giving my rating. I'll explain my thoughts when I'm giving my rating. But this movie was a trip in many ways. But now we cut to Haley arriving at the gym, and she has this whole little monologue about how stupid gymnastics is and all of this stuff. And then we also learn that she used to be a gymnast, but everyone hates her because, like, the year before when they were at the World's Championship, she quit, like, in the middle of the competition, which, like, ruined her team's chances of winning. So all of the girls are all mad at her. And then I said, sprinkle in a transition shot of a bunch of gymnasts. Oh, okay. This is the first scene I wrote. Okay. Sprinkle in a transition shot of a bunch of gymnasts doing the splits in the air to reveal the coach for the first time. There were so many very weird transitions that I think the producers thought would be artsy, but are just strange.
It was very, but I'm a cheerleader.
Oh, very. It really was. It didn't feel as, like, fully well done as But I'm a Cheerleader.
No, because that one's gay.
Well, I mean, obviously. I mean, if it's gay, it's going to be a little better. But, like, But I'm a Cheerleader, like, is not trying to appeal to children audiences, and it's very like I don't know, there's just, it tries to kind of be like that. That is a really good comparison, because there's just like so many moments where they like, I don't know, there's a few other that we can do, but I don't think I'm even like describing it well. Literally all of the girls were like on the bar, like legs up, and then they just like kept like doing the splits until the coach was at the end and he was like, "Hello, I am Bert." It was so weird. It was so weird.
There must have been something in the fine art world going on.
Something, because there were a lot of shots that were so unnecessary.
Yeah, and who fucking knows what's happening in the fine art world ever.
I mean, you would have a better clue than me. So if
It's
you
a
don't know,
scary
I
place.
don't know. If you don't know, I don't know. That's my final answer. But yeah, this is the first time where we meet Bert, who's the coach, as we introduce people. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of weird slow-mo moments where we're introduced to like the other girls on the team. One of which, the main other girl on the team that's important to know, her name is Joanne, played by none other than Candy from Glee. Are we kidding?
Her name was Sugar Mada.
Oh, whatever. Her name was Candy. I wrote Candy everywhere. All my notes say Candy. That's so stupid. Her name was Sugar. I'm so stupid. I was close. I tried. I was still just like freaking out because like I guess Glee started in like 2009, so that would have only been a few years later. For whatever reason, I thought these were like eons apart, and I was like, this girl just doesn't age. But I guess it was only a few more years. But yeah,
she probably only
Joanne
joined in like 2012 though. 2011.
That's true. She was later. I don't know. She just aged well, I guess.
Very strong opinions about Glee.
Yeah,
I guess.
we could have a whole Glee podcast and we'd have plenty to talk about.
Yeah, that's been done, and we still wouldn't cover everything that the other podcast would cover because there's just too much.
Glee is continuously evolving given everything. But yeah, so we're introduced to Joanne, Sugar, not Candy, who is kind of like Haley's like rival within the team. There's a few other girls named like Wei Wei and Mina and Lacey and stuff, but they're just kind of side characters that just happen to also be on the team. But Haley basically the whole time makes fun of the sport and how stupid it is. And then we cut to Bert and Haley in another gym. He gives her this whole spiel about you need to respect the sport and all that. There's so many scenes of like Bert and Haley talking where it's just Haley being like, I don't want to be here, and Bert being like, you gotta give it your all, kid. And like there's just so many of them, and this is just one of them. Next morning, it's the gym again. We get a montage of Bert hyping up the kid, like a bunch of parents. So you just kind of get the idea that like Bert basically like lies to all of these parents to get them all to send their kids there. He's very Olympics driven in all of this, but cut to all the rest of the gymnasts arriving. It's just, there's a whole lot of training. So much of this movie is just like Haley training by herself while the rest of the girls train together in a different gym. Like it's literally just a ton of montages of Haley alone, the girls together, Haley and Bert talking to each other about how they disagree about gymnastics.
Listen.
So, what's up?
There's a reason that they keep all of the training out of Dance Moms, and that's because it's boring as hell.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of this movie, not a lot of it, just after the first half was boring as hell because it was mostly training.
Yeah. There, because again, like most of my notes are just like another training montage, another discussion between Haley and Bert.
Abs.
Like, yeah. Yeah, no, the actress that plays Haley either was very ripped or had a whole pre-Marvel workout before being in this movie. Like, more props to her because wow, is she beyond strong. One of the quotes I do have, though, there was some little spat between Joanne and Haley. And she says, "Gee, pariah Carrie, I wonder why no one is scouting you," when Haley is being a negative Nancy. It's one of those things where it's like, again, a little band slammy, where it's like, ooh, what a burn, but like it doesn't really land. But honestly, I would liken Joanne's character to Sugar. Like, I know that part of it is just because, like, they're the same actress, but it's the same, like, kind of a bully without being, like, super duper mean kind of character where, I don't know. Yeah, one of the other differences that Haley has versus Bert is just that she really likes to do really tough, she likes to do really, really tough tricks and just go for it, whether or not she knows if she can do it, kind of a thing. Whereas his whole thing is, you know, like safe and, or like slow and steady, do what you know you can do. And I only mention that because there was another funny little quote, like during this scene where, a trainer is like, "Pointy feet wins the meet," and, which is just like a part of the whole philosophy of like, you know, do simple stuff really, really well. But then Joanne and Haley have a scuffle about the whole "Gee, pariah Carrie," and then the trainer comes up and said, "Hey, I said pointy feet, not pointy words. Pointy words are mouth turds."
I do remember that part. Yeah, that was one where I was like, Grace is gonna talk about that one. It was weird. And they're not children.
No, they're all like 17, 18 years old. Like, they're on the very, very, very back end of their childhood, and they're being spoken to as if they are 5 years old. Haley does one of Joanne's old routines, yada yada. Then I guess there's a quick little scene where it just kind of shows that there's a division between the girls and Haley. She goes back to the house that they're all living at, and she gets locked out, and they throw her stuff out the window. Then Bert drives up, they go to dinner, and he eventually is able to convince her, like, hey, if you compete in this gymnastics thing, you could possibly win some money to pay back the court. And then you could leave, kind of a thing. So she finally agrees, but again, only agrees to do it if she's allowed to train alone. And then this is really when we get a lot of those montages. But yeah, Haley's training alone. There's some Green Day playing as she trains.
There was some Green Day. Did it bring you back to Jersey Mike's?
Oh, very much. It was very Jersey Mike's core, and you are very correct.
The whole soundtrack.
Movies, yeah, any of these movies from like early 2000s always just make me feel like I'm working at a sub shop in college again. They very much do. I mean, you visited me there once, so you can concur that that was the only kind of music we played. Yada yada. Haley's friends stop. There's so many, again, there's so many unnecessary scenes. Like, Poot and Frank show up thinking that she's in juvie, try to break her out, but then they realize it's gymnastics and nothing really happens. They then get kicked out after she talks to them for 2 minutes. I only, again, mention this because something very weird was said in this scene. After they, Poot and Frank get kicked out, they're like, "Oh, we're going to go talk to the gymnastics moms. Oh my God, they're so hot." And Bert warns them not to and calls them the devil's candy.
I would say that was pretty self-aware.
In what kind of way? Do you want to explain that?
That gymnastics moms are the devil's candy?
Yeah.
Because they're the type of moms who teenage boys would prey on, but
Probably.
They would get into a lot of trouble if they did.
Yeah. I don't even remember what episode it was, but I did mention that, like, kind of like weird reverse, like, pedophilia kind of a thing with like hockey boys and like hockey moms. that account came back up on my Instagram Explore page. And I took a screenshot of one of their new slogans because I thought it was very relevant to that moment in the movie. Let me see if I can find it really fast. Yeah, making saves, getting babes, ripping wristers, banging sisters. These are all just like screen printed very plainly on hoodies. But the original one that like caught my attention and the reason why I brought it up, clapping bombs, wheeling moms.
Nope.
Hockey men are so terrifying to me. Very scary.
What do you mean to you? To everyone? Is there someone? Is there someone who exists that's not afraid of hockey boys? Ever?
I mean,
is that a thing? We went to school with so many of them.
I was gonna say, like, I mean, we went to school with enough of them, and most of the time they had girlfriends. So some people aren't. But
did they have girlfriends?
Yeah, typically.
Weird
ones. I don't know. But anyways, if you're a hockey boy, don't be gross like that. That's my message to you. Don't be gross. It's not cute. It's not funny. It's gross. And yuck. Anyways, Haley it's beyond the training. She gives so many monologues about how intense gymnastics is, why all these monologues happen. We have another one of those now that she fully is training. Another moment where Bert and Haley have a disagreement about how to train. Then we get there already was one of like the iconic ice bath moment already happened during an earlier monologue, but we get another one. There's another moment of her and
it's a twofer. And let me tell you, my nipples would be rock hard, and I don't understand how hers were not.
Bro, I'm telling you, like, this is the thing. Is like, again, like, you know this. I was very, very deeply into soccer for many a year. I mean, I know that, like, you kind of got to know me when I wasn't as deeply into soccer, but, like, I was very much an athlete. For all of the athletic things I did, for all of the summer training camps I went to, for all those things, I was such a horrible athlete in the sense that I refused to take those ice baths. I would not do it. They were so painful. I don't know how people did it. I just no. I can't even begin to imagine just nipples slicing through all layers of clothing. Like, ow.
Yeah, I don't think I ever did an ice bath. I did swim, and I did swim at state at a specific Big Ten university where they dropped the temperature of the pool by like 10 degrees. So it was like 65 or something. It was something weirdly crazy, and we would all freak out because it was so cold and you could barely swim in it. Wow. And then we did witness in passing in the locker rooms people putting their feet in the ice machine. And do you know those ice machines are typically like found in the back of coffee shops to put ice in drinks. So that was disturbing.
Yeah.
But I've never had to take an ice bath.
Yeah. I feel like now that I'm saying this, I feel like I might have done one or two when I was like at a tournament, but I was not the type to do it every day after training at all. Like back when I played lacrosse, when I was still really new at it and really, really bad, since I was a goalie, I would definitely use ice like bags and like saran wrap them to parts of my legs that really needed the extra help. But like submerging my whole body, no, I didn't do that. At least not many times if I did.
I lived in a shitty apartment and I had to take cold showers because my hot water didn't work, but it's not the same thing.
No, but I mean, not fun either. You're a tough athlete. You're a tough athlete, Taya. Don't you dare downgrade yourself. Yes, yeah. I don't know.
Thanks.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, during this ice bath, weirdly, the TV is on and like the rest of the girls are like watching it. And they're literally like talking about Haley on the TV about, oh, Haley quit at Worlds last year. What's going to happen? you'd think that the whole entire gymnastics world revolved around Haley, like the way that it was the only discussion they ever had. But anyways, next morning, training once again. Only thing I noted that was any different during this training session is that Haley finally admits to Bert she actually wants to like learn to do her tricks well. So she's kind of like leaning into his teachings a little bit. And Joanne mentions she wants short sleeve leotards versus the long sleeve ones that they have had because I have the right to bear arms. So,
oh, good Lord.
That was a quote. And then there's another training session right after that, and Haley actually joins the group. So we're getting a little bit of a shift. Something's happening. There's a little something in the water. Haley is becoming a part of the team. Wow.
Good job.
Yeah. So there's that. Cut to the end of training. Blah, 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 blah. At the end of that training session, Bert then talks about the, I think it was called like the IMG Classic. This is the competition that he initially convinced Haley to compete in. But then at the end of practice, he basically states, oh, I've decided who's going to compete and Haley's not on the list. And Haley's obviously very mad because she was like, excuse me, we had a deal. So he's like, you know what? You got me. And they decide then to have like a mini competition with all of the girls to then dictate like who was going to represent them at the IMG Classic. And there was another little quote where when they were trying to figure out like, oh, should we have them compete for it or not? One of the trainers pulls Bert to the side and says, we should do it, coach. It would light a fire under her gluteus. So again, there's that. Another one of those quotes where I'm like, you know, you could have just said lit a fire under her ass. Like they had said a bunch of like, they had said swear words earlier. Why did you replace this with gluteus?
I don't know.
Understand.
I think it was probably young writers that thought they were going to be real funny and they weren't.
Yeah, no, it was just another one of those moments where I sighed. When it happened, I was like, you know. Joanne's response to that is, we no-lo-neato a competition.
Everything she said was real weird. I gotta tell you.
Yeah.
Everything she said was just very much not what any person would ever say ever.
Yeah, Joanne in general was just a very, very weirdly built character. Like, she's supposed to be the bully, but she's over here, like, calling someone Pariah Carey unironically. She's saying no-lo-neato when something goes against what she wants. Like, how is that intimidating? Like, to bully someone, don't you have to, like, be intimidating? And all she's got are all these little weird catchphrases. Like, no. Yeah, Joanne / Sugar. Come on, do better, girl. Then we finally get to this like pre-competition competition. The one that's gonna dictate who goes to the IG Classic, and for the most part, like the only thing that really is important is that is like Haley and a few of the other girls made it, but Joanne didn't. She was made to now be a rotating person, like a backup instead. So that's what you get for being a weird bully girl. And during this scene, though, like, again, not much important happens other than the fact that we find out who's going to compete in the IMG Classic. But there are a lot of weird artistical things that occurred. Like, we mentioned the weird split montage before, but there were a lot of parts during this competition where I felt like I was looking into a kaleidoscope of gymnasts.
Yeah, there was a long shot of people spraying their butts with butt glue.
That too. I also made a note of that. There was such a, like, beyond, like, they did a very weird, the way that they would montage things was so strange, but the butt glue part was far too long. Like
we had to see every gymnast competing in this competition spray butt glue to keep their unitard down. And it wasn't just like this is what happens here.
No.
It was a very detailed, every person had a very detailed shot, and then like a rubbing of the bum.
A rubbing of the bum. I don't know why, but that just reminds me of like changing of the guard, but instead it's rubbing of the bum. Well, and it's not even just that it was long, it was that it was in slow-mo, very well lit, very detailed. Like it was, yeah. So, yeah. The fact that that's the part of this competition that stood out the most, maybe work on your ratios of your clips next time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if the thing that's most notable is the rubbing of the bum. I now know what I'm going to. No,
is that our title?
I was gonna say I now know the name of the episode, but also I don't know that I should do that. We'll see. But yeah, very much like while they're competing, they just have like basically all of the clips of all of the people competing at the same time, like kind of on top of each other. So again, it felt like I was looking at a kaleidoscope, and it's another one of those moments during this movie where I was like, y'all were really going for an artsy angle, and it kind of, for 2006, maybe it was well done, but it just felt a little strange. But I don't know. It wasn't horrible, but it was very intentional, and I'm not sure if it was good or not. I don't know. Good for them for putting in the effort.
The beginning, middle, and end of the movie all seem like 3 different movies too.
Yes,
and
that is very much
really
something
goes
I noted.
Together.
That is very, very, very much something I noted, because literally, okay, so the next morning, the only thing that happens at training is that one of the girls gets injured, so Joanne is back onto the team or whatever. But the next thing that happens is they're suddenly now at the meet. And this is kind of jumping ahead a little bit, but like once this meet is over, I genuinely and truly felt like the storyline was done. Like the plot felt like it had gone from A to B, but there was still 40 minutes left of the movie. And honestly, like I wasn't even like not into the movie. Like it was it's still pretty good movie, but like at that point I was like, emotionally, I've been through this whole plot line. What else are you going to do?
Mm-hmm. They didn't really know what to do in the middle of the movie, and that's when I made a note that said, "Oh no, it got boring."
Yeah. And then finishing the last 30 minutes was tough for me.
Yeah, and then I said, they still haven't established if she's gay or not. I feel like she was probably supposed to be, and they just skipped right over that because it was 2006.
Yeah, and if not, I mean, she was very queer-coded, if not.
Especially in the beginning.
Oh, especially in the beginning. Well, and every time she trained, she would never wear, like, the girly stuff that everyone else was wearing. She was always wearing, like, camo, baggy cargo shorts and, like, a very loosely fitting t-shirt with the classic 2006 three-quarter hat look. Like, I mean, she was very much, like, I'm not girl. I'm not girly. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, it was another one where it's like maybe if it had been made like more recently, they would have mentioned at some point that she was gay, but they very much skirted around that. But yeah, now they're finally at the IMG Classic, and there's a lot of really weird speed up cuts of them walking through the hallway. And everyone, again, apparently the gymnastics world revolves around Haley, because as soon as she walks in, everyone's like, oh my God, it's her. Oh my God. Oh my God. It's such a big deal. And literally, like, speaking of Glee, there's a whole Glee slushy moment because some random person in the crowd, like, oh, hold on one second. My sister's calling me.
What?
Decline. Absolutely not, Hannah. Not now. Anyways, before I was rudely interrupted by my sibling, Haley literally gets like a whole soda. Like, Hannah, if you don't, she's fine. She's fine. Do you understand? My sister, love her to pieces. she'll call me for the randomest things. I'm telling you, she's probably calling me because of, I don't even know. I don't even know what to make up. But anyways, before I was really interrupted twice during my time of work, Haley gets a soda tossed at her and it gets all over her leotard, but it is the most like glee moment. Like the way they toss it is very, oh, I just got slushied and I need to wash it off my clothes before PE class. Like, I love to tie in Glee if it's at all physically possible, so had to mention it.
That's true.
Yeah.
We love Glee.
Yeah. But the girl literally just is like, that's for Worlds. I'm like, you're literally a fan of high school gymnastics and you care this much? Like, does it ever matter this much? Ugh, it's so dramatic. But then, my sister just texted me. Apparently, she had a funny story she needs to tell me. Girl, just wait.
It is urgent.
Apparently so. Anyways, there's a moment where, then of course Haley has to get a new leotard real quick. And the leotard she picks out is black and green. And I was like, oh my God. Because as a child,
your shoes.
While she wasn't my gay awakening, I will say I was very attracted to Shigo from Kim Possible and was not sure why. So I was like, the combination of that Leo plus Haley's attractiveness, I, as a child, would have lost my marbles.
Yeah, you were the target demographic.
I was very much the target demographic. I had a feeling that you were going to be very, aware of how much it was more made for girls like me.
Yeah, I gotta say, I wasn't into Shigo. I was into Kim. I was.
Yeah.
She was cool.
There's two types. Well, I was still very into Kim, don't get me wrong. But Shigo, I was a Shigo girl. I gotta be real. I
can say many things about that, but I will hold back.
What? What are you saying?
You're not going to want this on a public setting.
Tell it to me afterwards. Anyways. Okay. Anyways, what even was going on? Oh.
Nothing. There was nothing going on. After the first half of the movie, everything was terrible. And then, not terrible, just very boring. And there was just conflict with the coach. Then we get to the end of the movie and we get to the competition.
Yeah.
That's all that stuck in my brain.
Yeah, I mean, those are the very, very overarching moments. But yeah, the girls compete.
But they don't.
Yeah. No, that's in the next competition. We're not there yet.
Oh, gee.
Well, I mean, this part is pretty important because basically the girls compete or whatever during this IMG Classic, and it dictates who goes. I think the last competition was Worlds again. But there's basically a moment right before Haley has her last competition. She's feeling pretty good and the competition's moving along, but her mom comes down and talks to her, and we find out that her coach only took her on because Haley's dad paid a lot of money to him to make him willing to coach her, because I guess after again Haley quit before she was in Worlds the other year, no coaches wanted to take her, and basically Bert only cared about her because her dad was paying a lot of money. So she decides to quit before the competition is done, and basically pulls a Worlds 2.0, has this falling out with the coach, and is like, I thought you cared about me. You didn't owe it to me to be a good coach. You owed it to me to be a good person.
They're calling me daddy in the comments. You really sound like Dr. Phil.
Stop it. That's not what I'm going for. Anyways, so she walks away. She leaves the competition, yada, yada. Eventually decides to come back to the team. There's a nice little moment where Poot and Frank pick her up when she's all upset, and Poots a few times in the car. How fun. Yada yada. And then Haley goes back to the judge because, I mean, she was supposed to do this gymnastics thing to do her hard time. But her coach, who she just had a falling out with, basically got her out of having to do anything else because he wrote a nice little note about how great Haley is and paid off the rest of her restitution with the money that he had gotten from Haley's dad. So then she decides to go back, and there's a silly, goofy little moment where she's like, I will compete if you get back on the trampoline. This man breaks his arm, but he gets picked up by the whole ambulance when he falls off the trampoline. The other important things to note before the championship is just there's this moment where we kind of find out why Joanne is so horrible, and it's just because her mom is horrible. What a shock. But then Joanne very much has a change of heart, and now we're finally at the championships
Here we are.
Skipping many of the scenes that just did not matter. Did you notice how many sponsorships were at the gymnastics championships? Because I did.
You're going to have to enlighten me because this is not my strong suit.
Fair enough.
Neutrogena.
Neutrogena was literally a part of the name. Yes. It was like the World Championships brought to you by Neutrogena. And I was like, oh, drama. But there was always like every cut that they had where you could see like a wall in the background. There was like a different sponsor each time. And I noticed Energizer, Motorola, as well as Luna Bar. And there was a Lululemon moment very, very quickly.
There was the coach. Mm-hmm.
Well, and the coats that they were all wearing. But basically, during this competition, it's very obvious that the judges are being extra harsh on all of the girls that are coached by Bert. So they eventually are like, you know what? Screw it. We can control the results, and basically protest the judges by all deciding to purposefully get zeros and then choose who's actually going to compete. And the person who like actually doesn't purposefully get a zero then wins. So they basically were just controlling the numbers of the competition, except for one girl whose name is Trisha, who I guess was a former teammate of Haley's and was still mad at her for everything that happened at Worlds. Like, get in line, girl. You're not special. But she very much has like a coming to Jesus moment at the end too. You know, she wasn't scratching, which is the whole purposefully getting a zero thing.
Can I stop you right there?
What's up?
The term is having a come to Jesus moment, not coming to Jesus.
Anyways.
I'm not just like being a jerk and correcting you, but you gave it a very dirty connotation.
I think the problem is that you gave it the dirty connotation in your brain.
I just needed to point it out to you because I thought it was funny, the idea. Never mind. I'm going to stop right there.
No, it's not. No, Taya.
It's funny because I know that it's the reality for some people.
By some people, you mean yourself?
Definitely not myself.
But yeah, anyways, this Trisha girl basically was like the only one that was like, her rumph, I want to compete. But at the end, she decides to scratch as well. And yeah, all of the girls basically just purposefully decide who wins. And that's the end of the movie. And yeah, then Haley is getting recruited to college for gymnastics. So she's back in the gymnastics world, I guess. That's the whole movie. But I will say one other thing that did stick out to me during the competition is they had a celebrity appearance from the recent Olympian Nastia Liukin in this movie. Were you aware that Nastia Liukin was an Olympic gymnast?
No.
I wasn't fully sure. That's not me trying to like come at you. I just wasn't sure if you would have known that. But when I was like really little and when I would watch the Olympics, I'd watch the gymnastics all the time. Nastia Liukin looks like a whole entire 2-year-old child next to all of the other actors. I think it was very much a moment where, you know, you actually had a kid who was probably like around the age that these girls were supposed to be. And she made it very obvious that these actors were much older than they were portraying themselves as. And I just thought that was really, really funny. I thought it was so funny. And it was also just really funny to me. Like, first of all, like, yeah, the judges weren't being fair. But you would think that it felt very much like the Kendall Jenner Pepsi commercial to me, where it's like,
oh no, Grace.
but like, you know what I mean? No. Where it's like, what are you really doing? Like, yeah. The judges were being very unfair, but it gave me the same aura as Kendall Jenner handing over a Pepsi to a police officer.
That's a good point. I just don't like to think about that commercial.
Oh, I mean, who does? Who does?
I'm sure there are people that do.
Oh, well, that's their problem. But I just also found it very funny, the whole idea that like all of these girls would have had to scratch for Nastia Lukin to win in the uneven bars, when it's like that's literally what she's a gold medalist for. But I mean, go off. But yeah, I just thought it was very silly, very goofy. I mean, you go girls, way to stick it to the mean.
You did it. You did it. Did you not notice? I thought you were doing that on purpose.
I was not doing that on purpose.
Well, like, I wonder where they got the name from.
No, in the movie, there's multiple times where they talk, like, they always reference sticking it to, like, Bert's whole philosophy of being able to, like, land the things that you do. Like, you've got to be able to stick it.
In the end, they're sticking it to the man.
Oh my God, you don't say. Oh my God, I never made that connection.
A metaphor.
A double meaning. Wow. Oh, wow. I'm enlightened. Wow. But yeah, it was such a like weirdly like good yet bad movie to me.
Yes.
Because again, like the middle.
2006. Yeah, the middle was terrible. It was very 2006. And I just, again, you don't have to make a movie. You don't. And I just wonder how any of these movies made any money whatsoever.
My thought with this movie isn't necessarily you don't have to make a movie, because it's not as bad as Bakery in Brooklyn. I think the thing with this movie is you don't always have to make a nearly 2-hour movie. It can be an hour and 20 minutes. It does not need to be an hour and 45. It doesn't. Like, there were, again, so many montages that were just not needed of Haley just training, and that added nothing. There were just so many empty filler moments. Oh, I just remembered one other little side anecdote. When Haley decides to quit partway through the IMG Classic or whatever, on top of finding out that like her dad basically was paying Bert to care about her, we also learned that she quit during Worlds the year before because she literally walked in on her mom cheating on her dad with her gymnastics coach, and that's why she left. Just another little piece of context that I forgot. But yeah, it's just, I think part of my problem too is I also watched it across like 3 different days. So like the second day when I was in the like middle portion, I was just like, this movie is so bad. But like the first part, I was like, oh, this movie's fine. It's whatever, yada, yada. And then when I got to the last part, I was like, I mean, this is strange, but like it's kind of fun. But that middle portion is no bueno. No bueno at all.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with IMDb, and I'm going to give it 6 Zoo York t-shirts out of 10.
Was someone wearing one at one point? Did I miss
Absolutely.
this? Oh, of course someone was. You know, I should know that. I'm going to give it... What did I last give a 5? I gave Band Slam a 5. I'd give this like a 5.5.
Oh, you're going lower than me.
Yeah. But that it doesn't feel like I should. But I think part of it really has to do with like it's my fault that I watched it across 3 days instead of just like getting it done. 'Cause yeah, just having to keep watching it. Oh my God.
You got it.
The way that like I just like It was a new day, a new dawn, and guess what? You still have more of the movie left. Definitely made it feel longer to me, and I think I would give it a solid 6 if I hadn't done that, but it just felt very, very, very long by doing that. But the beginning third and the last third of it, I would give a 6. The middle part, I give like a 4. So I feel like, you know, somewhere in the middle of that, a 5.5-ish, I feel like is how I feel. So 5.5 Poots. That's what I'm gonna say. But
sounds good to me.
Do you have a movie for us to watch next, or should we real quickly pull one out of our butts yet again?
I did have one in mind. I don't remember what it was.
Oh, come on.
I'm so sorry.
Let me see. I could try quickly pulling up. I did like make a master list a long time ago. So there is another Tall Girl. There is a second one.
Are we gonna do Tall Girl too?
We can, but I mean, are we ready for that, or do you need some more space?
We better just do it.
Gotta say, I am not excited, but I mean,
we gotta do what we gotta do, Grace.
We were gonna have to do it at some point. You can't.
It's
just
our legacy.
There's a second Tall Girl. You gotta watch it, but. I will say, I don't know that you're going to be able to get me to watch the 2 other Princess Switch movies. That's going to have to take much longer.
Oh, yeah, that's not in the plan.
There's too much Vanessa Hudgens. I've already seen too much of this woman, but...
Yeah, we've hit our threshold with that one.
Yeah, so, up next, Taya's favorite, Tall Girl once
too.
Again. Somehow they did it again. But the funny thing to me is like, you know, when the first Tall Girl came out, like so many people talked about it. Like it was such just like, because like obviously it was going to be garbage. The second one came out and I've heard no one talk about it. So
except us.
Yeah.
We're bringing back the craze, Grace.
We're starting the craze. Look at us. We're going to make it go viral. Just you wait.
Anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. Time to go prepare myself mentally for the second Tall Girl.
We'll see you later.
Oh, we'll see you later.